video on how links have advanced and integrated into Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm gonna be honest, there's still a lot of sour. Here we go. Here's the real Billie Eilish. Not a ripoff of Billie Eilish, by the way. Kappa. I don't know if people want to watch Raiden's videos. G-Hopper. There still seems to be an undeserved hate about the link mechanic. So I think we need to like it's also a little too new. We need to give that some time for like any link videos, basically. You know what I mean? Just turn the comments off. A video on how structure decks went from meme to meta viable, or excuse me, to viable meta decks like ABC, Dinosaur. I will never, ever, ever call Salamangreats S-A-L-A-D-S. I am not going to acknowledge that nickname, chat, ever. I call them Salamangreat. As a Salam ambassador, it is beneath my dignity. What's more hated, pendulums or links? It should be pendulum. Pendulum was inherently broken as a mechanic. I would argue Link was not. Link became broken. I still don't even know if Link is broken, to be honest. I don't think Link monsters are inherently broken. They're just not. Like Link got so many cards banned because Konami just allowed too many of them to like summon. Specifically summon from the deck. Pins didn't change how everyone had to play the game. See, but that's the thing though. That's not Link's fault. That's Master Rule 4's fault, chat. Master Rule 4 is the one. If Master Rule 4 is what specifically said you can't summon Exceed, Synchro, and Fusion in the main monster zones. Like if Links would have just if Links would have been like Master Rule 5, chat, would people have hated Links as much? Like I don't blame that on Link monsters. I blame that on Konami. You know what I mean? I mean, you can argue that like what would Links have done if you could just still Fusion and Exceed in the main monster zones? Like they would not have been as impactful. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe that might be an argument, but I don't consider that Link's fault. Pendulums weren't inherently broken. They just got broken cards. No, I actually think pendulums were inherently broken. Chat, were pendulums inherently broken? I think they were. I don't think it had anything to do with pendulums getting monkey board and Joker and all the. I think the entire mechanic just like what's fair about summoning 5 monsters? And the thing is, like, you could say, well, Cap, you have to go -2, right? You have to go -2 to be able to summon 5. Okay, but after I kill your 5 monsters, you just resummon them for free. Like free soul charge every turn is balanced. It creates this dumb game state where like if I can't kill you in one turn through all your monsters, you just by defaultly outgrind me, like no matter what I'm playing. Because you infinitely just have fodder. Unless I specifically attack your scales, or I just negate the summon, in which they all hit the graveyard and you just lose them forever. Like, there's just no way I can outgrind you. Like, and that's dumb. Why should I have to specifically attack your back row to, like, stop your monsters? That doesn't make sense. Unless your archetype, like, if that's your archetype's gimmick, I understand that, but that's not what pendulums were. Like, summon 5 Performa Pals for a year. Take away the unfair cards. What does pendulum do? Nothing to be. I just told you. Like, look, you might be judging pendulums by like today's standards of can you make VFD, but like, I mean, just compare them to like other decks. They summon, what's it called? Cap is still on that dumb pendulum bad take. What if I'm wrong about pendulums, then why did they instantly change the mechanic at the very first opportunity that they got it? Why can't you still pendulum 5 from the extra deck then, chat? Like, if pendulums aren't broken, then why can't you summon 5 from the extra deck? Why did Konami essentially say, yeah, we're gonna give more power to Fusion, Ixie, and Synchro, but not pendulum? Like, why were they the only ones specifically left out? Because the mechanic is inherently too strong. Like, it's stupid. I'm not even mad about like summoning 5 from your hand. I'm mad about summoning 5 from the extra deck. That's fucking stupid. Why aren't there like 10 good Pendulum decks? I mean, there was this deck called Performages and Pals, but Konami like had to fucking e-ban that shit. I think people are all employing revisionist history, and Performages and Pals would have been like tier -500, but Konami hit the deck after like a fucking week, Celsa, because they realized like, oh, this is going to destroy the game. That deck would have never stopped winning, chat. Seriously. Performages and Pals would have just never stopped winning if they what's it called? You said it wouldn't be tier 0. Yeah, well, clearly I was wrong. Press 1 to delete that video, chat. Press 1 to delete that video. I'm gonna delete it. Dude, Pepe would have been like tier -500. Like, I love decks like Zodiac and Necros, but like, no, Pepe would have stomped those decks. Seriously. Pepe just would have kept winning until Konami hit it, Celsa. Even all the other Arc V decks at full power, Pepe would have beat those decks, in my opinion. Klee were the only good Pendulum decks. I mean, it's not like Konami didn't... Okay, so here, if you want to know why, people say, oh, Cap, if Pendulum's so broken, why wasn't like every meta deck Pendulums? Because that era was designed differently, chat. Unlike the other eras, I'll give you an example. 5Ds and Zexal. Unlike those eras, where all Konami did during those eras is give us that one mechanic, Konami split the Arc V era up because of the plot of the anime. If Konami treated the Arc V era just like they treat, I mean, Vrains is the same thing. Well, kind of. If Konami treated the Arc V era as they did Zexal and 5Ds, then we would have just had nothing but Pendulum decks. Like during 5Ds and Zexal, all they gave us Ixie, 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 Synchro, 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 Synchro. That's why there were no good ritual decks for like fucking 10 years straight. But during Arc V, Konami was like, well, the anime is going to go to Fusion Dimension and Synchro Dimension and Ixie Dimension, so we might as well give the players good decks for those mechanics. So we'll give them ABC and Metaphors and Shadows and Telenites and Burning Abyss and Zodiac. I mean, there really weren't any good Synchro decks, but, you know, I digress. That's not the point. This sounds like a 10-minute video. Pepe was OP because cards like Pendulum Sorcerer and Plush Fire. I mean, but Pendulum Sorcerer wasn't even an OP card. Pop 2 cards on your side of the field to search 2 cards. Like, is that OP, chat? Was Pendulum Sorcerer an OP card? I would argue it wasn't. Plush Fire, maybe. But like, Pendulum Sorcerer is not OP. Any card that says blow this up on your side and get equivalent, that doesn't really sound OP to me. Otherwise, it'd be tier 0 no matter what you hit by your argument. Konami just needs to know. Wait, Konami just needs to know to stop printing cards that +1 each other. Be more specific, Lion King Jim. Are you saying that like they shouldn't print cards that make +1, or they shouldn't make? I mean, you have to have some synergy within archetypes, otherwise your archetypes just suck. You know. But like, I don't think like Pendulum Sorcerer was broken. I mean, Joker was kind of broken. Monkey Board was broken, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think Pendulum as a mechanic is just inherently broken, chat. Unless you're talking about the way that they've changed. Wow, back-to-back Royal Tribute. Unless you're talking about like now Pendulums, but Pendulums now have been nerfed. It was amazingly strong. Joker is just shitty Stratos. Joker can also be used as a scale, though. I would not say Joker is shitty Stratos. Joker is, I mean, well, is Joker hard once per turn, chat? He probably is, right? I mean, I argue Stratos is still an amazing card. Stratos is just, Stratos is locked, or Stratos might not seem amazing because its power is limited by heroes. But the difference is, like, Joker has the pendulum summon. So it would be like, all right, here we go, chat. Stratos now says, we're going to errata the Stratos card, or errata the entire hero mechanic. Now heroes say, chat, if you have 2 heroes on field, you can special summon any amount of heroes from your hands or graveyard every single turn once. Are heroes good now, chat? At any time, you can just special summon as many heroes as you want, but you have to have 2 heroes on field. Are heroes better? No? Really? They still suck? Is it because they can't do their inboard still sucks? That you lost me at a red. I feel like they'd be good because you wouldn't be like locked into heroes, so they can make negations. You know what I mean? Like they can make negations. What you're literally saying isn't reflective in the game's history at all. I honestly don't understand your argument, Killer Jetstorm. It sounds like you're saying that pendulums wouldn't have been good. It sounds like you're saying that was an argument. Pendulums were only broken because they had broken cards. And I'm saying no, they were broken because the mechanic was broken inherently. Summoning 5 monsters from hand was like good, and if you couldn't kill them, especially in decks like Metaphors, them just being able to summon like 5 more monsters was just like, that's how they just outgrinded decks. Like if you just didn't kill all their monsters or their scales, you were just gonna lose by default. People say that about what is the deck, chat? People say that about like Drytron too, or yeah, Salamangreat was kind of like that. Salamangreat, like if you didn't kill Wolf and just completely blow them out, like you were just gonna lose. Well, yeah, if you didn't kill Wolf, you were just gonna lose. They would just get all their advantage back. But Pendulums was on like a different level. The next arguably tier 0 pin deck after Pepe was Pendulum Magician. When you had Electromites and Astrograph, it's always card quality. Again, though, again, I believe that the argument is skewed because, as I said before, during the Pendulum, during Arc V, chat, Konami didn't just focus on pendulums. They focused on other mechanics as well. And they added power creep into those mechanics so that they could keep up. Chat, look at the Arc V. It's so clear. Look at the Arc V era. Look at the core mechanics of Yu-Gi-Oh! Synchro, XC, Fusion. Look at what they did in the Arc V era. Hey, let's summon a fusion monster. All right, how you gonna summon it? Am I gonna use Polymerize? Nope, you're not gonna use that. You're just gonna banish from your graveyard. ABC, like that. You guys don't think that that's power creep? Like we're gonna let you summon fusion monsters, but you're not gonna use any spells. You're gonna fusion them from the fucking graveyard, and then that fusion monster is gonna summon 3 more monsters back during your turn. Like that's power creep, chat. Like they added power creep into those mechanics so they could keep up with Pendulum. Look at XC. Yeah, we're gonna give you guys XC monsters, but instead of XCing with 2 cards, we're gonna do 1 card. Zodiac. Like that's the whole point, or the whole way that these mechanics could fucking keep up is because Konami had to power creep the fuck out of them so that they could keep up with Pendulum. If Konami did not add insane amounts to power creep or insane amounts of power creep to these mechanics, Pendulum would have ran all over them, chat. Like that's why there was no good synchro deck during Arc V, because Konami never I mean, I guess they tried to do it with Yang Zing, where Yang Zing were supposed to be able to all of them were supposed to be able to synchro summon during your opponent's turn, but you're not making sense. I am making sense. I'm telling you, if the argument is, oh, pendulums were only good with these decks because of these broken cards, like, no, I think you would have seen more pendulum meta decks, but the reason that you didn't is because Konami took these mechanics like Fusion and Synchro or XC, and they like completely just deleted the rules of them so that they could keep up with Pendulum. Like it didn't even have to be those decks. I think some of the lower end decks like Magispector and DDD, chat, would have been. What do you guys think DDD would have done if there was no Zodiac, chat? Like seriously, what do you guys think that DDD would have done if there was no Zodiac? I feel like DDD would have definitively been like top 2 deck in the game. The next Gumbler argument, tier 1. I mean, that's like another like these pendulum decks were held down not because they were bad. They were held down because Konami broke the rules of these mechanics. DDDs don't even pendulum summon weird, dude. I mean, still pendulum deck though. Still pendulum deck. All their starter cards are pendulums, chat. So why aren't Dino Mist, Ignites, Amorphage, Meta? All these decks can pin 5, but they were all dog shit. I think I kind of, well, hold on. Didn't Dino Mist come out at like the same time that Metaphos was like a meta deck, or am I just wrong? What set did Dino Mist come out in? Look, I'm not saying every single pendulum. First off, some of them were just poorly designed. Like Amorphage, decks like Amorphage that couldn't even keep their scales. That was just an inherent, that was just an inherent stupid flaw in the design of them. Not every pendulum deck, like, okay, here's this, chat. Would Amorphage have been good if the scales didn't blow themselves up? Would Amorphage have been meta? I feel like that shit would have been insane. Simple yes or no answer, chat. The Amorphage scales don't require any cost. Would Amorphage have been good? I feel like it would have been good. Unless their scales just suck. Hold on, let's find out. I don't know what Amorphage do. Basically, every card is a floodgate. Every single card is a floodgate. Like, the main problem with Amorphage is that the pendulum scales blow themselves up, which is like super counterproductive because that just means, what's it called? Their stats also suck, but, or no, they don't have like offense. Let's read, what are their scales? 5 and, okay, there you go. All right, look. Here's why Amorphage sucked, Killer Jetstorm, and why some of those pendulum decks that you just named sucked. Actually, I can tell you. Do you want to know why some of these sucked? This archetype, the scales blow themselves up, and the scales also suck, chat. Like, the failures for Pendulum are when Konami made these Pendulum archetypes, but then they gave them stupid scales like, oh, we're going to give you scales of like 5 and 3, so you can only Pendulum summon level 4s. Like, yeah, of course the deck's going to suck then, but when you have like Metaphos, where the scales are 1 and 8, and you can Pendulum summon everything in the game, then the deck is good. Like, if this deck would have had 1 and 8 as its scales, there you go. Like, the bad Pendulum archetypes all had, like, stupid numbers. Like, I think Dino Mist is, what, 6 and 3, chat? Like, yeah, of course it's going to suck then, because you can't even, like, use the Pendulum mechanic. So, that's an example of, like, why some of the Pendulum decks were bad. You couldn't pin 5 in the deck. Because, like, you can only pin 1 level. Give every single Pendulum archetype 1 and 8. And then come talk to me. Like this, when you give a Pendulum archetype 5 and 3, like, of course it's gonna suck. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really do anything with this. Average pin card greater than average. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, chat. The average pin monster was just better than the average monster. Because it can be a spell and it can be a monster. Like, there you go. They can pin summon 4s, kill themselves. Shit's broken because no. No. Like, okay, here you guys go, chat. Amorphage Sloth, and where's Goliath at? Goliath should be here. Here you guys go. This is a win condition, right? Monster effect. Neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck except Amorphage. You guys are telling me if this deck could Pendulum summon this card turn 0, this deck would suck? Because I'm telling you, like, no, it wouldn't. What is he, an 8, I think? Yeah, I think he's an 8. Like, this deck sucks because you can't fucking summon you can't summon these. the win condition of the deck is like this or this. I think this card is the same effect, right? Or he might be a macro. Yeah, he's an 8. Okay, give this deck 1 and 9 scales and then see what it does. And also make the scales not blow themselves up. Yeah, just make them 0-12. Make all Pendulum monsters, chat, 0-12. You know what I mean? Like, what about Ignites? I mean, they, like, don't even have effects, Selza. Like, the point, you guys are bringing up these, like, super obscure, they're all vanillas. Like, these are Pendulum decks that are, like, designed to be bad. Come on. Like, of course a Pendulum deck's gonna suck when you make every monster a fucking vanilla. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Their scales are okay, but they're all, like, why are they vanilla monsters? Why don't they just have effects like every other thing in Yu-Gi-Oh? Like, you can't expect any vanilla card or any vanilla archetype to be good in Yu-Gi-Oh. You just can't. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh is based around effect monsters. I mean, maybe in GX, like, you could get away with playing vanillas, or unless you had something like Rescue Rabbit. But I mean, come on, chat. Like, the problem is, for these bad, for Pendulum decks to be bad, they either had to be like vanillas, which obviously that's unplayable, or can't Pendulum summon their own boss monsters. Like, they have to like not work, basically. So are we just gonna pretend Metaphors don't count? Metaphors were vanillas, but Metaphors could like summon actual disruption. Like, I get it, yeah, Metaphors were vanillas, but like their spells and traps were fucking strong, dude. Like, I admit that, Kaiba. When I first saw Metaphors, I was like, this deck's gonna suck. But yeah, like, their spells and traps were good, chat. How you gonna say Pendulums are inherently broken, pin 5 every turn, if they can't be good with bad cards? Because the decks that you're talking about, like Amorphage, can't pin 5. Like, they can't do that, Killer Jetstorm. Like, the scales below them, first off, they can't pin all their monsters, and then their scales blow themselves up. So like, you get pin summon once, and like, that's it. Ignites can easily. All vanillas, dude. All vanillas. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the cards have to be good, but like, you can't just be vanillas, man. You know what I mean? Dynamis could have been good if Dynamis was like better scales. Dynamis 5. Yeah, chat, like, I'm not saying that 5 normal monsters is good in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5 normal monsters is not good, but just make the cards decent. You can even give them shitty effects. Just give them some shitty effects. Like, I think Odd Eyes could have been like a legitimately good deck, but like not against shit like Zodiac, you know? Dynamis problem isn't their scales. Didn't Dynamis come out of the same set as... When did Dynamis come out, chat? Did they come out in Dark Illusion, or did they come out in Bosch? Yu-Gi-Oh! Dynamis. If they came out in... We're in a duel? Okay, give me 1 second. When did these jokers come out? They came out in Bosch. That's what I thought. Bosch, Shining Victories, Dark Illusion, Maximum Crisis. I mean, okay, hold on. What isn't this the set that like literally made Pepe, chat? So you guys are arguing that like Dynamis should have been good when Pepe was tier 0. I kind of feel like that's like odd. Like, why would anyone play Dynamis? I mean, maybe you could argue if they, I don't know. I mean, maybe Dynamis could have been good, but like, this is like when Pepe was a thing, so everyone was just gonna play Pepe. Imagine choosing, yeah. Like, I'm trying to think. I'm like, what was meta here? Then I'm like, this is Pepe, right? This is literally Pepe. Yeah, the set with Monkey Board, Guitar Turtle, Pendulum Sorcerer. Yeah, this was when Pepe was a thing. So like, it didn't matter what Dynamis did. Like, no one was gonna play it over Pepe, because Pepe was just like that fucking shit. Oh, I didn't even have to look for Soldier Duel. It's just right here in front of us. Dynamis could have competed with... Alright, okay, yeah, there you go, chat. I guess if Dynamis... If there was no Pepe, could Dynamis have been good? Give them wider scales, because I feel like they can't... Give Dynamis just 0 and 8. Could Dynamis hang with Monarchs? Like, probably. You guys think Dynamis could hang with Monarchs? I'm gonna say probably. You know what I mean? If Dynamis would have had just like 0, 8 scales, like, probably. Could they have hang with Monarchs? Like, I mean, Monarchs was good, chat. I loved it, but that deck fucking bricked a lot. If they had Howling. Yeah, okay. Why wasn't Dynamis OP after the Pepe hits? I mean, chat doesn't think their scales suck. I think their scales sucked. Chat, I think their scales were bad. They needed wide scales. If they would have had scales like Metaphors, I think they could have been good, because they would have been able to make Toad by Bahamut Shark, Because Toad came out in Dark Illusion. They would have been able to make Cyber Dragon and I think they would have been pretty good. And also, yeah, give them Howling. It's still Pendulum. Again, I think there was a world where Dino Mist like could have actually been decent. Dino Mist would have gotten fucked at the time. By what though? Like if you're telling me Dino Mist would have sucked, chat, you got to tell me what would have beat them. You know what I mean? Dino Mist has the appropriate scales for their monsters. If you say so. Did he just lose to Bell Pass? Like, oh, he's playing actual Prank Kids. I thought he was playing Rocks. Okay. All right. So Celza easily wins this duel. Or hold on, maybe he didn't. Maybe he used Dododo's. Oh, maybe Dododo got bailed. Oh, okay. Because I know if you're playing Prank Kids and you don't have like a Prank Kid on field, you're probably in a bad position. You know what I mean? 4 good pin decks throughout all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Equals most broken mechanic ever. I've already been over. I'm not debating this anymore with you guys, chat. You guys don't get it. As I've said before, Pendulums would have ran over everything, but Konami made other stuff better so that Pendulums wouldn't just dominate. You see this with ABC and you see this with Zodiac. You know what I mean? Like you saw, chat, you saw them completely overhaul mechanics. That's not how XC worked for Zodiac, and yet it did. That's not how Fusion worked for ABC, and yet it did. Like, you guys think ABC would have been good if you actually had to use polymerization and have all 3 cards on the field or in your hand? Of course not. It would have sucked. You know what I mean? They're way beyond time period we're talking about. ABC was during Arc V, and so was Zodiac. So they're not. They're specifically in that time period. Yeah, they're not at all. No power creep. Ooh, nice Ash. I like it. Nice Ash. Konami needed to release the best fusion deck to compete with Pendulum. What do you think? When you say the best fusion deck, Atenza, what do you mean? Do you mean Shadow, ABC? What are we talking about? Regular fusion was power crept with Glad Beast. Oh, you mean with Contact Fusion? I'm kind of surprised we didn't get another Contact Fusion. Oh yeah, we did. We actually did. I'm trolling. We got Ritual Beast. I was gonna say I'm kind of surprised we didn't get a Contact Fusion deck during Arc V, but we did Ritual Beast. You know what I mean? Oh, Shadows. Yeah, but they also hit cards in chat. I mean, Konami also for those mechanics, chat, they also hit cards in those mechanics. Not ABC, but like Shadows, Zodiac also. ABC is Contact Fusion. We came to the conclusion that ABC is ABC Fusion, chat. Contact Fusion is when you send all cards from the field to the graveyard. That is not how ABC summons. So, yeah, like ABC has no term for how it summons Buster Dragon. I mean, I wanted to say Miracle Fusion, that it's Miracle Fusing. I think that would be the closest, because Miracle Fusing is generally banishing from field or graveyard, but Miracle Fusion might just be graveyard. And ABC can banish from field too. They can even fusion from like the back row. If one of your ABC pieces is like a spell card, it can still technically count as a monster. So like, it's weird. Miracle Contact Fusion.